So, we're going to have a go at making a Banksy. Um, and there's a link here if you haven't seen Banksy's work. And what we're going for is the sort of high contrast, black and white, no grayscales sort of image. Um, um, this has been around for a long time. In punk rock, you can see how there's a grayscale-ish image that's been turned by Shepard Fairah here into pure high contrast image, and that's the sort of thing we're going to try and make. Always very striking. So you can go and get some more images from these sites. And the tools we're going to use to work on our images are either Pixlr or Photopea. Both really kind of work the same way. So I need to open a picture, and I think Mars would make a good. Going to use a background. Needn't necessarily use a background. And using Remove BG earlier, I'm going to open another picture. Which is the crab in this folder. What's it called? Crab Remove BG Preview. I think that's it. Yeah, that looks good. I'm going to open this. And the reason I do this is so that I don't have to rasterize the image, which we keep talking about. I always forget how to do. So I'm just going to copy this and paste this into there. You can see, because of the different resolution, it's quite small, but it will get away with sizing this up or sizing the background down. So if I can select the crab and then transform, I can make that the size I want it to be, which is quite big. There. So I want the background to probably not be as prominent as that, so I'm going to go in and adjust the brightness and contrast. And it's going to be black and white, remember. So brightness and contrast. So I'll turn the brightness up and turn the contrast down, so it sort of becomes less of a thing. I might end up not using the background at all, we'll see. So also with the image, I can also desaturate that and start moving towards black and white to see what I've got. So click on the crab layer, and I'm going to desaturate that, take the colour out, and I want more contrast in there. Yeah, that's looking quite good. Okay. Now there is a filter. Let's see if I can find it. For turning colour halftone turns what you might call colour pixels into dots. Now that's the effect I actually wanted, and I think I can make the dots bigger. Oh, maybe too much. There, that's kind of what I wanted. It gives a hint of the background without being too. And what I'm going to do is I will turn that into grayscale. I've forgotten how to do that again. Is it there? No, leave that for now. So in the crab layer, I'm going to use the threshold, and that kind of says turn this into pure black and white. And I can pick the point at which I think it looks cool, which for me is about there. Okay. And I'll do the same with the background, because at the moment it's in, if you zoom in, what's the magnifying glass? If you zoom in, you can see it's a collection of different coloured. I mean, that would be a nice image, and it's actually, I quite like that. I do quite like that. I might change my mind rather than make things difficult. So this is now going to be my poster, and I think, if we were making a cool poster, I might also choose to have some text across the top. I am coming to get you. And let's make that text super big. This can be a bit fiddly. Let's try 500. Ooh, has that gone too big? Maybe it has. Yeah. So let's select all the text again. Let's try 300. Hit return. Still not quite there. And you can see at the moment this text is below the crab, which means that should I move it down, it goes behind it, which I quite like the effect of, but I don't like the font. So let's pick a different font. And I'm going to go for this punky font. That would be a nightmare to stencil because it's got so many jiggity jaggedy bits. I'm looking for something quite blocky. Which is the blockiest? I think one of the ones I saw earlier. I want a really simple. That one there, perhaps. And that font is actually fatter, so I need to take it down in size to what? 250? Guessing here. That's quite good. So we have here our crab, slightly occluded text. It's not very clear glab, but I could maybe find a better picture. And move that over there a bit, and the crab over here a bit. There. So this is going to be my poster. So I need to export this. I can save it. Remember, I always save it so that I've got a high quality version with all the layers in, and then save as either JPEG or PNG. Save as JPEG, and it says what size do you need it to be. I'm going to make it smaller again to just 1000. Hit return. That should be okay. Yeah, and save this. So this is called Mars JPEG. This will be in my downloads folder. So now we've created our design, if we like. We can use a site like Rasterbeta or Block Posters and maybe try them both. And what this does is it creates a multi-page printout. You see here, where you can actually fill a wall, depending on how much printer ink you've got and how much printing you're allowed to do, with images that are made of multiple images. So I'm going to create my poster. So I choose the file I've just made, which I think is in my downloads, Mars. There we go. The JPEG, not the Photoshop one. And then upload this. And here we go. If I wanted, how many? 4 sheets wide. Does it tell me how big that would be? Here it goes, yeah. The poster size will be 84 by 59 centimetres. So I could measure my wall in centimetres, and I could say, oh, well, no, I want it to be huge. So let's, there. So that would be 2.31 metres by 1.7. That's like size of a human there. You can see it's getting wet big, and each one will be printed out. Now you would have to trim each and every sheet, so you have to take your time. So it's worth getting hold of one of those guillotine things to do this, and we can choose the kind of extra effects that are placed on this. So this will actually do certain. So we can actually upload scan lines here that makes it look. That would cost a fortune in ink. I tend to always go with the simplest one, which is the black and white. That one, which I guess will use it with your black ink, but it creates such a stunning effect. And if you were to create a poster like this and put it onto a board, then you can then work on that with paints and things. So now we're at the level where we we can choose the colours and things, but as I say, I stick with black and white. And continue and complete 72-page poster. Now you can at this point pay for this service, which is a fantastic service, but you don't have to. And I've been given this file here called rasterbation.pdf, and if I open that, it's a PDF that looks really strange, but these are the sheets that, I can't remember how many it was it about 12 across, that I would cut out, stick together to create a wall-sized poster. And you can do this in colour. As I say, here's the little crop marks for where you cut. So you cut off these edges. Make sure you carefully number the backs of the sheets, because if you get out of order, it can turn into a very large jigsaw puzzle. And I found that when sticking them down using spray mount, so very, very small amounts of spray mount, or taping them slightly on the back is the easiest, because you don't want the paper buckling, but you do want it sticking down. So that is how you can make a huge poster or stencil that resembles something like this.